Have you ever looked at someone and thought, I know exactly who this person is, only to realize later you were completely wrong? That's not because you're bad at judging people. It's because the human brain is surprisingly easy to fool. The people who hide their true intentions rarely look suspicious. They often seem the most trustworthy, the most confident, or even the kindest person in the room. But psychology shows that their real intentions almost always leave small clues before the truth ever comes out. In this video, you'll learn how to spot those clues, read people beyond their words, and avoid the mistakes that fool almost everyone. And the final sign may completely change the way you judge people for the rest of your life. Most people believe they can tell if someone is honest just by listening to what they say. But that's exactly where the brain gets fooled. Imagine starting a new job, and one coworker immediately makes you feel welcome. They remember your name, laugh at your jokes, and always seem to agree with you. Within a few days, you start trusting them without even realizing it. That's because your brain naturally connects familiarity and friendliness with honesty. Psychologists call this one of the biggest shortcuts our minds take when judging people. The problem is, genuine kindness and carefully planned charm can look almost identical at first. That's why smart people don't judge someone by a great first impression. They watch for consistent actions over time. Once you learn to separate words from patterns, you'll start noticing clues that most people completely overlook. And one of those clues is often the first crack in the mask people work so hard to hide. If you really want to understand someone, don't pay attention to how they treat you when everything is going well. Watch what happens when they don't get what they want. Imagine a coworker who's always friendly, always smiling, and everyone in the office loves being around them. Then one day, someone else gets the promotion they were expecting. Almost overnight, the smile disappears. They become cold, impatient, and quietly bitter. Psychology shows that pressure makes it harder for people to keep up the image they carefully created. Their patience gets shorter. Their body language changes. Their words no longer match their actions. That's why one disappointing moment can tell you more about a person's character than months of smooth behavior. Instead of asking, "How nice are they?" start asking, "Who do they become when life doesn't go their way?" Because the answer to that question often reveals the intentions they've been trying to hide all along. But there's another signal that's even harder to fake. One of the biggest mistakes people make is believing that honesty always looks comfortable. It doesn't. Imagine you're on a first date, and everything feels almost too perfect. They laugh at every joke, agree with every opinion, and somehow seem to like everything you like. You leave thinking, I finally met someone who just gets me. A few weeks later, you realize they were simply telling you what you wanted to hear. Psychology tells us that real people naturally have differences. Someone who constantly mirrors your opinions may be trying to earn your trust instead of showing their true self. That's why healthy relationships aren't built on perfect agreement. They're built on honesty, even when it's uncomfortable. The next time someone seems almost too perfect, notice whether they can respectfully disagree with you without changing who they are. Because that simple moment often tells you more than 100 perfect conversations ever could. By now, you might be wondering, so what should I actually look for? Here's one of the strongest clues psychology has to offer. Watch how people treat someone who has nothing to give them. Imagine you're out for lunch with a friend, and they smile warmly at you, but barely acknowledge the server taking your order. Or they speak politely to their boss, but become impatient with a cashier who's moving too slowly. Those moments aren't random. Psychology shows that people often reveal their real character when there's nothing to gain from being kind. Respect that's only shown to people with influence isn't genuine respect, it's strategy. That's why one of the smartest habits you can build is watching how someone treats people they don't need to impress. The next time you're with someone, notice whether their kindness stays the same when no one important is watching. Because the way they treat strangers today is often the way they'll treat you once they stop trying to win you over. And the final sign brings all of these clues together in a way most people never expect. The hardest people to read aren't always the ones who lie. They're the ones whose words and actions slowly stop matching. At first, it's easy to explain away. A friend says they'll always be there for you but keeps canceling plans. A coworker promises to help with a project but somehow never has the time. Each excuse sounds reasonable on its own, so your brain gives them the benefit of the doubt instead of noticing the growing pattern. Psychology shows that we're naturally influenced by what people say they intend to do, even when their repeated behavior tells a different story. That's why actions always reveal more than promises. If you really want to understand someone's intentions, stop asking, "What did they say?" and start asking, "Do they keep the small promises? Do they show up when they said they would? Do their actions stay consistent over time?" When someone's actions consistently match their words, trust has room to grow. When they don't, believe the pattern instead of the excuse. That's how you stop judging people by who they claim to be and start seeing who they truly are. The truth is, reading people has never been about finding one perfect sign. It's about noticing the patterns most people ignore. The more you pay attention to actions instead of promises, behavior instead of charm, and consistency instead of first impressions, the harder it becomes for someone's true intentions to hide. So before you trust someone too quickly, remember one simple question. What do their patterns tell me? It might save you from losing not just your time, but your trust, your peace of mind, and the relationships that matter most. If you want to understand the psychology behind the people you meet every day, make sure you subscribe for more videos like this. And now I want to hear from you. What's one behavior that instantly makes you question someone's true intentions? Share it in the comments. Your answer might help someone else see what they've been missing.